old government house in Brisbane, and this was just, well, I just kind of stumbled across this. So I was typically heading through the Botanic Gardens and then to QUT, Queensland University of Technology, and then right next to QUT just happens to be Old Government House, and just went into an art gallery. And I thought it was quite a good art gallery, actually, in QUT. I think when universities, have an art gallery, I think it's good because if people are sort of visiting, they want to visit something, and an art gallery is a very good way of something to visit. And some of the better universities typically have an art gallery, and it was quite big as well. It wasn't just kind of a one room sort of art gallery. I think it was like four rooms, and quite an extensive volume of collection. So maybe worth a visit. Maybe go through Botanic Gardens. I wouldn't say it's the best Botanic Gardens, but it was okay. And then QUT Art Gallery, and then maybe Old Government House. Now I haven't been into. I'm just kind of hanging out in this courtyard with a drink. Incidentally, got a Bundaberg lemonade. I'll just have a drink now. And actually stopping off. Actually going to Bundaberg for a few days. So going up to Noosa, and then I think Noosa, Bundaberg, and then Bundaberg, I don't know, Gladstone, sort of through Rockhampton, Mackay, and then sort of Ellie's Beach, and then up to Townsville. So in Townsville over the Easter long weekend, Friday till Tuesday, and then head up to Cairns through Mission Beach, and on the way back to but go back to Townsville, but actually go to Magnetic Island and got a few days backpackers on Magnetic Island before heading inland towards, well, eventually they head up in Darwin. Have to go through Katherine, go down to Alice Springs, back to Katherine, and then up to Darwin. So this will all happen prior to the June, 1st of June, and then of course Kimberley's 10-day road trip from Darwin to Broome. And then I actually have to fly from Broome to Perth, week in Perth to Melbourne, conference in Melbourne, the Maths World Conference, and then Sydney for the ICME, the International Congress of Mathematics Education. So there's a lot happening. Now, yes, I posted on on the recent posts you might have seen. But I was just thinking through this problem. Yeah, so who is GOAT? Yes, obviously Novak Djokovic, always going to be contender for GOAT. But I don't know, what about other sports? So what about Sam Kerr? I don't know. I haven't typically watched a lot of women's football, let alone, in fact, I haven't really watched football in general, let alone women's football. Now, there was a World Cup, and did go to the World Cup, and was hoping to see Australia play, but of course it was all sold out. And incidentally, everyone was going to watch Australia, and all the other matches, they were just completely just isolated. There was no one in the other matches, and got some $20 seat. I think Colombia versus Korea, South Korea, which it was just dominated by Colombia. Can't remember, maybe it was 3-love or something. And the Baron incidentally went to Colombia for the conference after watching the World Cup, but I thought it was good. It's a fact it was a World Cup, and hadn't seen soccer. So it may have not been the Ronaldos or the Ronaldinhos, but it was soccer, and it was atmosphere. I don't know whether you can really see. When you go to a sporting event such as a football event, are you really watching the game in such a big stadium? Compare that to, say, watching it on TV. So maybe it's just more about the culture, the atmosphere, and maybe going to a match live or just seeing soccer live. And of course going to a World Cup in itself. But it was cheap. And so, the Baron has seen a lot of sports. I think saw rugby league match, saw netball, saw a T20 cricket match, then went to the US, saw this, of course, the tennis, the US Open, and saw hockey. I recommend hockey, ice hockey. Saw Canada playing the Canadians against, I don't know, Montreal, I think it was, and also football, American football. Except, you want to get good seats. The football I was so far back, couldn't really see much at all in football, but really have seen a large volume of sport, um, and pretty much covered I don't know, pretty much sport except for the Winter Olympics, and that's what the Baron's planning on 2026 Milan, Italy. I think that would be worthwhile at least to cover a sport. So yes, went to the Sydney Olympics, 2000, but and I went to the Com Games in Melbourne 2006, and so maybe go to the 2032 Brisbane Olympics. But I think the Winter Olympics would be worthwhile. Now, yeah, getting back to the GOAT. So maybe Sam Kerr. I'll have to look at her statistics. What has she achieved? And maybe Sterling Mortlock in rugby. Incidentally, I never saw Sterling Mortlock actually play. I have seen rugby. Baron has seen rugby. Obviously, seen a lot of rugby league and have seen rugby or rugby union, and of course AFL, but didn't actually see Sterling Mortlock compete, let alone as captain. But I know, just based on his record, based on his performance in terms of goal kicking, in terms of goal scoring, as I think played winger. Statistics alone have to do the analysis, but could be a potential GOAT. And for Ash Barty, well, she's got the combination going. This is the thing, from tennis, from cricket, Test cricket, to tennis, to now potentially a golf, maybe a football, and maybe captain a team in football, or maybe AFL football. That could potentially seal it as a GOAT. I don't know. What do you guys think? But after all, it's all about winning and becoming GOAT. So yeah, so I might just sort of leave it there. I might have a look at Government House. I went in Canberra, been to the old Government House in Canberra. We're seeing it was closed when the Baron was recently there. I think I was there on the weekend, or maybe I was just there too early. The new Parliament House, of course, we're seeing in Canberra. There's nothing else in Canberra, let's face it. So why not visit Parliament House? And yeah, and the thing is, because it's kind of, you can see it's, the stone. It's kind of made of stone, which is quite interesting. All sort of heritage old houses are kind of stone or sandstone. University sandstone. Okay, so that was Baron Breaks, QUT, Queensland University of Technology, and beyond.